Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, and welcome again to another episode of Live Free TV with Noni. I am Noni Walker, author, speaker, and coach. And today's episode is titled Election Aftermath: How to Be Free. I'm going to get right into it. This will not be an episode to discuss the winners or the losers or any political position. This episode won't be to debate anything related to one side or the other, but the episode will be to address what I see is one of my biggest concerns that I've seen throughout this week since late Tuesday night. And it actually doesn't have anything to do with one candidate or another on the national level or state level or local level, but it has to do with you. My biggest concern has been you, the people. We've all seen some debates. We've seen some things going on Facebook and other social media networks. We've certainly read headlines as to what's going on, what the nation feels like, whether it's positive or negative. But again, the biggest concern that I personally have is you. And what state of mind are you in? I've seen posts this week from people that say that they feel nauseous, they feel sick, they feel depressed, they're feeling angry, they're feeling all of these things. And so, my opinion is not that, hey, you shouldn't have these feelings, because everyone is entitled to their feelings. Everyone, we wouldn't have been given the range of emotions within our scope, within our bodies, and within our lives if we weren't supposed to have them. But the concern comes about when people begin to contain these emotions and sustain these emotions over long periods of time. So there's an emotional life cycle that happens, okay? You can have an emotion, whether it's happiness, anger, depression, and you're aware of it, you feel it. And what's supposed to happen, a healthy life cycle, is that you can process it and then you're able to release it. But as you all know, I've been in health and wellness now for 20 years. Where health and wellness related issues come are when we are not able to take those emotions, properly process them, and then release them. Then you have the whole premise on why I've even built my business is when anger and depression and fear and anxiety, when those emotions stay in the body, they then affect the processes of the body, and then eventually turn into, or in some way influence, impact, can be, and the impetus for, can affect the beginning of dis-ease, okay? And if you want to study this, you go to not necessarily our Western practices, but go to the Eastern practices, where many of them are able to link what a particular disease is, the organ in which it starts, and then the emotion that actually is related to that dis-ease. I'm not going to even quote them right now. But basically, I just wanted to give that as an introduction as to my biggest concern this week is the emotional and the mental and the spiritual and the physical state that people are now moving into as a result of this election process. And the importance of being able to express yourself, but not to carry those emotions for so long that in the end, you're not able to think of solutions because you may be sick. And sickness, dis-ease happens in many different phases. It happens in our spirits. It happens in the mind, our mental health. And of course, it happens physically. So this show, I'm going to attempt to keep it shorter and to the point, because I do sometimes love to just talk with you all. Hi, Marcia. Beautiful truth. It's a national problem with this election. That's right. The post-traumatic stress disorders and the anxieties, folks, we can be angry, we can be depressed, or we can be extremely jubilant, you know, whatever it may be. But in order to come back to the basis, to come back to base, and in order to be able to think of solutions, we can't do it with a sick spirit, a sick mind, or a sick body, okay? Or a sick pocketbook. I'm saying pocketbook, the old school term. So today's show is simply how to be free, okay? How to be free. And if you've noticed in the title, it's an acronym. So if you've got your phone out, you've got something to write down my acronym today that anything that happens in your life, whether it's an election or whether you've just gone through a bad breakup or whether you've lost your job, whatever it is, you know, this is an acronym that can help you. How to be free, okay? Let's just get free. Number one, the F stands for getting fit, okay? How can you be free? First, the F is to get fit. And when I say get fit, I mean get fit in different aspects of your life, okay? Because it just seems like there's people who feel like that somehow now their lives are going to be out of control. But no, we're going to focus on how to feel as though and how to know as though you are always in control of your own life. And so the first letter in getting free is F. Get fit. You're going to focus on getting fit in your mind, your body, your spirit, and in your finances. Now you can reference any one of my past videos on how to decrease stress. How to go about life when you've experienced a very big change. I've got videos, I've got my book that I published, but let's go quickly into how can you have control in your life? By getting fit in your mind, body, spirit, and in your finances. First of all, in your spirit, okay? Excuse me. When you've gone through, hi Heather, hi Nathan, when you've gone through a traumatic experience, whether it's the elections or not, first of all, you can begin again to come back to yourself and take 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, 5 minutes in the evening, and just sit, okay? And connect with whatever higher power you connect to. Okay, whether you call that God or whether you call that Allah, whether you call that Olodumare, whatever it is, to just sit for 5 minutes a day and to focus on that power that is always around you. That power exceeds any national election. That power exceeds any challenge that you are going through. That power exceeds any and all of that. And whether, there are people who don't even know whether or not they believe in God. But surely, if you just look around, there is some sort of force, okay, that is existent within this universe. So tap into that, okay? Then you take the advice of getting fit in the spirit by taking deep breaths. And I've got a full video on this about the myth of the work-life balance, that there is no myth, that the way to find balance in any moment, okay? You've just watched the news, you just went on Facebook and had an argument with somebody. Hey, let's get back to being balanced. And the way to focus on finding balance in any moment is a deep breath. Very, very simple. Taking a deep breath, taking multiple deep breaths in any moment can provide just enormous benefit to you physically, mentally, and spiritually. Okay, that's one way to get fit. And if you're just joining me, we're going through the acronym, how to be free at any time, election or not. And the first letter is F. The first word is getting fit. Mind, body, spirit, and in your finances, okay? So, connecting to a higher power, whatever it is you want to call it, and finding balance in any moment is just to sit and take a deep breath. Take another deep breath. Go back to my video on the work-life balance to remind you of all of the benefits health-wise and mentally wise and spiritually wise, as to how taking a deep breath can help you throughout your day, because most of us are breathing very shallow, okay? Let's go to the mind. One way to get fit in the mind, especially during this time of all the high tensions going on with this election, is to take a break. Get off of Facebook. Get off of going on to the national media sites, because sometimes what we do subconsciously without realizing it is we are actually feeding even more of the fears by constantly going on, constantly checking in with people that we know and that we don't know, that seem to be thinking rationally and that seem to be not thinking rationally. And we just sit there and feed ourselves in their fears, in the nation's fears. And then what that does, it automatically increases our own fears. So one way to get fit in the mind during this time and any other time that you're experiencing a challenge is to take a break. Get off. Get off of your phone. Get off of the computer. Get off of the television. Don't take a break from watching the news just for one day. No, you're not going to fall behind. No, you're not going to fall behind from what's going on. You won't be left out. The news will always be there tomorrow. The people who are fighting on Facebook will always be there tomorrow. But you can give yourself the gift of getting fit in the mind by just taking a break. Go for a walk. If it's too cold, like it is sometimes in the mornings here in the Fayetteville, Atlanta, Georgia area, just sit and look out the window. Look at some birds. Listen to some birds singing. Just take a break. Take a break, folks. My biggest concern is seeing the amount of almost, it's like self-inflicted decreased mental capacities from what's going on this week. And I'm not condoning and I'm not denying. I'm not in a state of denial. I'm not going to talk about the issues. But what I'm saying is that you've got to take these breaks for yourself. Be concerned for yourself first and get free. Okay? Now, how can you get fit? The first letter is F. The first word is getting fit. How can you get fit in the body? Okay? I've talked to you before about the importance of just drinking some water. Drinking water so that your body is not dehydrated throughout the day. Sometimes during periods of very high stress, we forget to eat and we forget to even just drink and hydrate ourselves, so that then at a later point in maybe the day or the week that you find yourself at such a high stress level, and you might have argued with someone, or you might just be feeling depressed, and you might have gone to work all day, but because of this time of high tension, you haven't been eating properly, or you forgot to eat, or you forgot to drink water. Take that break, get fit in the body, and just take a nice big glass of water. I'm not even going to do the recommendation about 8 glasses of water a day. Just drink some water and hydrate your body, which then in fact hydrates your cells. It increases your circulation. It helps you to think clearer and helps you to feel better. Okay? So that's the F. Getting fit in the mind, body, and spirit. And then the last way to get fit is to get fit in your finances, okay? I'm seeing posts, oh my gosh, we're gonna all be slaves, we're gonna be this, we're gonna be that, all due to this one person. And again, I'm reminding you that you have control over your life, okay? You are the first person that you wake up with and that you go to sleep with. Before somebody in another state, before somebody on a hill, before somebody in some big house does anything to you, you are you first yourself. And so, folks, let's remind ourselves, okay, that by getting fit, even in your finances, that whatever changes come in January, hey, whether one side won or the other side won, either way, there would have been some changes coming about once that new person came in office. Either way, even if an independent had won, there would have been some changes, folks. So what we want to do now in November and December and January is to say, hey, I'm getting fit. I'm getting fit in the mind, body, and spirit. I'm feeling free. I'm feeling that nobody has control over my life. I am not a victim. And one way to do that is to get fit in your finances. That may be taking on a hobby that now you find a way to monetize it, starting a home-based business. There's multiple ways to get fit in your finances, and I'm going to cover some of that actually in our other letters of the acronym. All right? But just to introduce the idea right now, that one way to not feel like a victim is to take control over these issues, or at least to influence the control in your own life by getting fit in your finances. Find ways to make extra money and learn how to save that. Learn how to put it away. Learn different techniques in order to grow your money and your prosperity and your abundance, so that you don't have to feel like, okay, I may only have this little bit and now someone's going to come and take it away. All right, let's go to the second letter, which is R. Okay, we're learning how to get free right now. The election aftermath, any kind of trauma aftermath, just go and get free. First you're getting fit, and then the R is refresh and restart. Refresh and restart. It's perfect right now. It's November of 2016. How many of you had New Year's resolutions in the beginning of 2016? How many of you said, even if it wasn't called a resolution, this is what I'm going to do in 2016. It's a new year. I'm going to do all of these things. How many of you did that? You can raise your hand. You can chat with me here. Now is a good time to remind yourself that no matter what's going on right now this week and what you perceive that's getting ready to happen on a level that is, I want to say outside of you, but many of you feel like, no, it's exactly you. But one way to do that is to refresh your own self on the goals that you had at the beginning of this year. Take some time now at the end of the year, refresh, reflect on what were your goals in 2016. Did you achieve them? What steps can you take right now, from now until the end of December, to continue to work towards the goals that you set for yourself in 2016. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm bringing this back to you. I'm bringing this back to remind you that you are you, you start and end with you, and that you normally have goals and things that you want to achieve for yourself, your family, and your community. So take some time now, and the R in getting free is to refresh and reflect first on what is it you wanted to accomplish in 2016. And if you haven't accomplished some of those goals, take the time now, work from now until the end of the year to accomplish those goals. And then the R is also for restart. In 2017, you can restart, whether or not you want to call them New Year's resolutions, or if you want to just call it pushing the restart button. Okay, let's get prepared, folks. Again, no matter who ended up in the national office, no matter who ends up in the state offices, no matter who is ending up in your local offices, no matter what, changes were going to come anyway. And so, I think as a side note that a lot of this anxiety is from the fact that people really don't like change. They don't like change either way it goes. And so instead of saying, well, I don't like it and it just shouldn't happen, then let's focus on, well, how do I react to change? Okay? How can I de-stress myself in reaction to to any changes? And one way is to know that you can push the restart button for 2017 and that you can create now some new goals. I said this to somebody on the other day that, hey, I'm looking for the silver lining at all times. And I think that part of the silver lining is that all of this stuff can help everyone to understand exactly where they are. And I'll just do the blank stare for a second. You can understand exactly where you are. Take that how you want to take that. You understand where you are, and you can understand and remember where you wanted to be at the beginning of this year. And now that you know where you are, you can now move forward and say, okay, what are some new goals that I need? Maybe just saying, get a new job, get a better car, get a better house. Maybe those are kind of outdated goals. Maybe my goals need to shift and change. Be more involved in my local community. Figure out ways to have multiple streams of income. figure out ways, not just how to make that money, but how to grow that money and how to protect that money and how to protect that abundance and that prosperity. Maybe it's paying more attention to what's going on with my children and children in my community. Maybe it's time, I could go on and on with the examples, but do you see where I'm going? Hi, Latavian. Okay, BCU, good message, thank you. Do you see where I'm going? Is that silver lining is that we all have to, again, whether or not your candidates got into office or not, we're all faced with the opportunity to restart in 2017 and to now think maybe my goals need to step it up a level. Maybe I need to step up a level and not have the same old average goals. I'm not trying to demean anybody's goals, but maybe I need to step up on what it is that I want to do in this new year, okay? Let's move on to E, the first E, and how to just be free. Election aftermath, traumatic aftermath in any situation, going through a major life situation, death, divorce, anything, recovering from war. How to get free is to get fit is the first letter, getting fit. Then refresh and restart. And now the E is educate. Educate yourself or educate other people. Let's start with educating ourselves. Taking my deep breath because I feel myself getting all hyped up. If you're just joining me, let's start off with a deep breath. Okay, a deep breath also helps you to process messages that are coming to you in a calm fashion and in a calm manner. But the first E in getting free and being free is educate. Okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about anything specific, but I can't help it because one of the main examples in education in this process is that, folks, we've got to think back to whatever we were taught in school, or now that we're grown, what we may not have been taught in some institution, that there are processes that always govern everything, okay? Just as in your own home, if you are by yourself, whether you're married, whether you have children, you have established processes in your home that anyone that comes into your home needs to understand those processes, correct? Correct. Your kids understand clean up after yourself. Your kids understand do the chores. Your significant other, you all have agreed on processes that run your home. So to completely buck the processes that are going on around us in our community and in the nation doesn't make any sense. We have to understand the processes that are going on. And the way to do that is to educate ourselves. Educate ourselves on the processes. This is one way to get free. Okay. Hello, Rod. Hi, Steve. Hi, Charles. Hello, Edward. Welcome. We're talking about any kind of aftermath, but especially the election. Get free. F is for getting fit in the mind, body, spirit, and the finances. R is to refresh and restart. And the E right now is to educate. Okay. That the E is to educate yourself on anything. Educate yourself on the Electoral College. Thank you, Rod. You just got me nervous. Come on, you're out of here. Educate yourself on the Electoral College. Educate yourself on how to become a member of the Electoral College. Educate yourself on what's going on locally or statewide or nationally. These are ways that can always take you out of the anxious and stressed and feeling like you don't have any control. This is one of the number one ways to take yourself out of that is to educate yourself. Educate yourself on as much as you can. And I would encourage to educate, okay, before getting out and talking and debating and arguing and all of this stuff. Just sit back and educate yourself first on any kind of process. If you were going through a divorce, would you just go through it without having, and I mentioned divorce because it's a traumatic event, and we're talking about the aftermath of traumatic events. But, would you prepare to get divorced without consulting a lawyer of any kind, or just without even understanding the process of how it works? No. How to move yourself through traumatic events. You must educate yourself on the processes that are involved from the beginning, okay? And that can help you to decrease your stress level, to decrease the depression, to decrease the anger. Now again, I'm choosing my words carefully. Don't nobody sit here and say, oh, she denying what's going on. I'm not talking about that. I'm not here to debate what's going on and who's right and who's wrong. I'm saying that what I'm seeing is people's mental and physical and spiritual and financial states of being we're losing touch with that. That's what I'm talking about. And that a suggestion is to follow this E, educate yourself on the processes. Okay, because then when you become educated, then you go into the last E, which is empowered. You are empowered now. You've gotten fit in the mind, the body, the spirit. You're working on your finances. You're refreshing, looking back at 2016. What were my goals? What did I want to accomplish? What do I need to do between now and the end of the year? And then you're pushing the restart button for 2017. Step up your level of goals. Step up the level to which you want to live, so that you don't feel like anybody can come just take something away from you. Okay? Then you move into the E, the education. You've educated yourself on the processes that exist. The same way you have a process in your home. Okay? Prayerfully, we've got processes for how we pay our bills. How do we make money? How do we fill up the refrigerator? These are all processes that we follow. So then it's natural that the processes that go on in our community, in the state level and the national level, we need to be aware of. We need to educate ourselves on, okay? And that leaves you empowered. There is nothing worse than the victim mentality. Another blank stare. Take that how you want to take that, folks. But one of the biggest things I see as an impediment to healthy and happy lives is feeling as if that I can't do anything. I'm a victim. That somebody else is going to always be in control of my life. Now, there are things that are out of our control. Yeah. And again, I'm not gonna debate what this person thinks is out of our control and what this person thinks is out of our control. Because I have some pretty radical views about, just self-empowerment and being a queen and being a boss. But so we don't need to debate those points. But again, just on the general level, the victim mentality is one of the biggest causes of dis-ease that I have seen in my nearly 20 years of working in health and wellness. Is somebody getting information, getting education, getting this, getting that, and still what's holding them back is feeling like, but I just can't because I don't, somebody else is in control of my life. Nobody's in control of your life. You are you. You wake up with you, you go to sleep with you. You start with you, you end with you. And for those that are spiritual, as I am, you also equates God. If you are part of God, okay, you came from God, you exist within the spirit of God. That means that you wake up and that you start and end with that all-knowing power. And that power is not outside of you. That's one of the biggest things as well. That power is not outside of you. You can claim that power for yourself through getting fit, through refreshing and restarting, through educating, to now move to a spirit and a mind state, and all of your actions come from being empowered. Now, I'm not talking about fighting with other people. That's not empowerment. I'm not talking about, let me go get ready and, let somebody step to me, Okay, that has a time and a place. That has a time and a place. I'm just speaking about moving about life empowered, knowing that for yourself, you are educated. You are fit in the mind, body, and spirit. You are fit in your finances. You're fit in your faith. Okay? And that it would take a lot to break you down. Okay? Because that victim mentality says, one little thing, I'm out. That's what victim mentality says. Oh my gosh, this one thing that happens and I'm out. I just give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. So I'm going to try to stop here because I want this message to be very clear and concise. Today's show is focused on you. My biggest concern has been you all, folks. From nausea to depression to anger to anxiety to just feeling sick to I don't want to go to work, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Let's stop that, okay? Let's stop that. Yes, you might have experienced trauma. You might have experienced a blow to your sense of what the world is and what the world means. Yes, I acknowledge that. I recognize that. If nobody else is, I'm going to recognize that for you right now. I'm going to validate the fact that you are due your opinion. But chronic stress, chronic holding on to emotions, holding on to these things for week after week and month after month, those are the things that are the impetus many times for the beginning of dis-ease. You won't usually hear me say disease. Dis-ease is the chronic state of being not at ease. And when we find that we're spending months and months and months and years and years and years in a chronic state of stress and victim mentality and feeling disempowered, it directly equates to the level of dis-ease that we have mentally, the mental health, the physical health, the people that are going this way in terms of believing in a spiritual power. Do you see where I'm going, folks? People are kind of quiet today, and maybe that's a good sign. But I'm here to remind you that at any time, that you can move forward and be free at any time. Start with yourself. Start with yourself, okay? Edward Tucker just said amen. I'm going to end it right there. Amen. Or in the African community, we say ashe. We say, and so it is. And that is all that it is, folks. I love you. I care for you. If nobody is telling you right now, I love you, I care for you. And the biggest thing is we've got families that depend on us. Whether or not you've got children, you've got aunts and uncles and cousins, you've got people that are looking at you that depend on you, and you depend on yourself. So let's move forward, whether or not something is good or bad. Let's move forward. Let's be free. And if you want more on how to do that, you can always contact me. Whoop, there it is. That's what Rod just said. Thank you, Angelique. We love you too. Good. You can always contact me through noniwalker.com. You can go through my videos here on Facebook. I've got a couple things on YouTube. You can, whatever, text me, email me, because we got to get through this together, folks. Thank you for all of the love and the happy faces. And on that note, until next time, say it with me. What do I always say? Until next time, live well.